Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and in just a moment we are going to see a very special interview with artist Rachel Moseley from RJD Gallery in Bridgehampton, New York. So keep watching, darlings, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and I am here with this fabulous artist, Ms. Rachel Moseley. Did I say that correctly? Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it?
That's correct. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and Ms. Moseley is one of the featured artists at RJD Galleries in Bridgehampton, New York. Welcome to Cognac's Corner TV show, darling.
Thank you.
Rachel, my first question is, of course, what inspired you to be an artist?
That's a really good question. I think I've always done art since I was a kid, but I think having supportive parents who led me to believe that that was a career path was really helpful. I think a lot of people don't have that. I think everybody loves art when they're a kid, and everybody wants to be an artist.
I happen to have loved art when I was a little girl too. I'm very creative. I can draw.
I can tell.
You, of course, but I mean, I'm very creative. When I was a kid, I used to draw and I used to color and paint, and I was pretty good at it. I mean, if I went to school for it, I probably could have become an artist because I'm not bad. I've been told that by many teachers, and even when I was in school in art, I used to do all of that myself. But of course, in my family, I always tell people this. I grew up in a very old-fashioned Italian family, and all of this stuff is frivolous. Me, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a movie star. And of course, it's all frivolous, but you get to do what you love, right?
Yeah. And I think that I think that a lot of that was just having support and having people who encouraged me and led me to believe that I could actually do it, which I think is really incredible. I mean, at the root of it, I think that's definitely what it is, because we lose creativity naturally as we grow up, and I think that hanging on to that and having people who support your imaginative life, your creativity, your passions, and the things that make you work is an extremely helpful support system to have when you're trying to do that, because
and when you're laying down, when you're sort of laying down what your future is going to be all about. So how old were you when you decided this is what I want to do?
So I was in college, and I was minoring in art because I didn't think that there was a career path in it. And my parents were the ones who were kind of like, do this, follow that passion. And I do happen to both of my parents are creative and passionate people, which I think also helps. But so then in college, I really made the decision to do it. I ended up, so I double majored in women's studies and printmaking, traditional printmaking, which is in the fine art realm. And I was choosing what path to go in for grad school, and I ended up deciding to follow art and see what I could do with that. And I originally I thought that I wanted to be an illustrator. I really didn't think that you could make a living as a fine artist. And so I thought illustration, you could work for a company or do contract work and stuff. And I did do a lot of that after I finished my master's.
Were you interested in maybe fashion illustration or no?
I did a little bit of fashion illustration. I did a lot of freelance stuff right out the gate, and so it was really diverse. I was doing digital work, I was doing traditional work, I was doing small projects, book illustrations, editorial illustrations. some fashion illustration, which was, it was fun, but contract fashion illustration, when it's not your own vision, is a little bit different than like a fashion designer creating looks and stuff. So it wasn't as that was probably actually the most like corporate gig that I had, where I had to like,
really, fashion illustration, really?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
for Ferragamo. I was working for like with in their art department.
With
And it was,
Ferragamo, really?
yeah, and it was in the financial district in San Francisco, and I had to like wear pantyhose and a suit, you know, and like get dressed to go to this art job where I was used to like, you know, drawing in my sweats until 2 p.m. every day. So it was, yeah, it was a big shift, and a very it was a more structured job than I was used to.
Yeah, the corporate world now with fashion, they're really trying to get people to buy. It's more business minded than creative in this country, because they want people to buy the clothes.
Yeah.
And so they're thinking in their head, well, this is too avant-garde and this is too out there. I don't think this is going to sell. So you have to, it has become fashion here in New York and the United States has become, I see it because I go to Fashion Week. Although this year I don't think I'm going anywhere because
I know.
So, but it has become very, very corporate. I can tell you many, many years ago when I used to go to Fashion Week, it was really outrageous. It was so creative and so avant-garde and so out there. But, you know, now the way the world is today, you know, people want to make money, and who's going to wear these clothes? So, you know, it's just not part of the world anymore. Now, I wanted to talk to you also. You are a representative of figurative art. For those of us who do not know what that is, tell my audience, what is figurative art?
Figurative art, I mean, if figurative art in general is any representation of the human form, of figures. But what we do and what RJD really sells is imaginative realism. So there's while it might be fanciful or painterly even, there's an element of realism in pretty much every artist that they represent. So it's really representational, it's not very abstract, and almost everything that they sell has some form or human figure in it, in the work.
I've noticed that when I've been in his gallery, everything is realism. It almost looks like it's almost so realistic that the painting comes out and jumps at you. And I've noticed some of your art is like that. I was looking at your art yesterday when I was learning a little bit about you, and I could see it's very fanciful and
quirky
and silly and funny. And I mean, you had like this girl with 2 donuts. I think those were donuts, right? By her art.
Yeah.
Tell my story about that. Why did you want to do a paint? That was a painting or a print?
That's a painting. Yeah, it's a painting.
Why did you want to capture this girl? I mean, did you want her to wear her hair specifically like that, so that with the donuts like this? What was it about that you wanted to capture that?
So I really, a lot of the work that I do has really sexual underlying tones, and at the time we had, I like playing into fantasy, and I like kind of pushing the limit a little bit, and not doing it in such an obvious way that it becomes erotic art, but I like
Some of it was a little erotic.
For sure, absolutely, yes, yeah.
And there's a girl there that was, her tatas were showing.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was
well, which is funny because, and I think that's like one of the least sexual of my paintings, of my work. Like
that was the least sexual?
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of I think the cheerleader is more sexual than that. So there's things that I like to tap into where I put it in your face and I say, here's what you're looking at. And it seems innocent enough at first glance, but it speaks to kind of our own perversions or desires or
and
things
everybody
that we find
sees,
sexy.
that's true, and everybody sees something different.
Yes.
You might have created a painting thinking this is what I want people to see. But
Yes.
when people do look at it, they see other things that
Of course.
think.
Yeah, and that's the wonderful thing about art. And so that painting in particular was our she used to be our nanny. She was the nanny for my kids my son when he was a brand new baby, and she was a high school student, so she was only 16. And there's something about the underage cheerleader.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I love it because there's nothing explicit about that subject, about her in that painting, but there is. And I really like kind of playing with those two things where you're looking at something that's sweet and innocent and cute and not at the same time. So I feel like that is kind of what I like to tap into most. I like to find things that I think are sexy or sexual or sometimes dark, and then present them in a lighthearted way.
You like a little bit of the dark. Wow.
I do.
That's okay. That's what makes you an artist.
Yeah, and so and it's I change and get inspired by different things, and I have to say all of the mask fashion that's been happening right now, I think masks are my absolute, like the COVID masks that everybody's required to wear, I think are the absolute sexiest thing that I've ever seen, not being able to see somebody's full face. And I love, speaking of fashion, like how they're playing into the fashion world.
You know something, it's very funny because when I went to Fashion Week in February, there were a couple of shows. There was one show in particular, I can't remember the designer, but I was sitting there watching the show and they had models walking with the mask.
Yes.
Like almost, did they know something?
Yeah, it's hot.
I said, how could that be? Did they actually know that we were going to wear these things? Now, Rachel, tell us, as an artist, what is your goal about your work? What do you want people to see when they look at your work?
That's a really good question. I think it changes, and it has changed a lot, especially since I've become a mother. I think that I started out the gate and was having kind of an incredible climb, and then I got pregnant, and my production, and I had 2 babies back to back. So my production slowed way down, and I realized that initially when I was starting to find some success, I think being successful and, having accolades and recognition and being celebrated for what I did and feeling like what I was doing was special was a lot more important to me than it's become. And now, because my time is more limited, it's so much more focused on the quality of the work and making each painting an important painting rather than getting work done, pushing deadlines and things like that, which, I mean, the gallery is probably very frustrated by it because I definitely don't make as much work as I did. And I know that I will again. I was actually really starting to pick up. I was supposed to have a show in August at the gallery, which obviously didn't happen. But
is it because of the COVID too? Is it because
yeah. And then my kids were in preschool full time or suddenly not. And so all of this stuff, everything changed, and but I feel like adjusting to that, not stopping to do art, and really taking the time to build and grow as an artist and evolve, not just focus on one thing, but find things that I think are interesting and that fit the same vein of my existing work and kind of pursue different paths, which our JD Gallery has been so supportive of that. They've been so supportive of me, which I like just appreciate.
They love you, Rachel. They love you.
They're absolutely family to me, and I'm so grateful for what they've done.
He loves you. He told me
he's the best.
You, Rachel, you're gonna love her.
Yeah.
And I already do. He's a wonderful person. He's a wonderful curator. Our curator.
Yeah, he's so good, and he's so passionate about his job, and he knows he and Richard together are just kind of an unstoppable team, and they're so personable and huge, and those are the guys that you want on your side when you're an artist. And I tell every artist,
I want him on my side too.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you also, you are a teacher of art.
I am, yeah.
For the Academy of Art, you've been there since 2011. How did you get involved in teaching, and why did you want to become a teacher?
So I started there. It's funny, when I did my MFA there, and then I started in ARC. So their ARC program is kind of this helping undergrads program. So it's like tutors, tutors when they're struggling in some area of their work. And so I had started there, and then one of my mentors was the director of the foundations department, and she hired me on to teach, and really supported me. I was 25 when I started teaching, and a lot of my students, my undergrad students, were not that much younger than me. And her name is Kristen Miller. She's an amazing artist, and she really supported me and helped me to kind of find that voice and fake it till you make it. She was like,
that's what they say about us in show business, to fake it till
totally. Yep. Yeah. And teaching was that for me. And then, what I love about teaching is the repetition. You get, you're teaching the same material, but you get new, fresh students every time. So every semester that I teach, I get better at the content. I get more, I learn more things that students struggle with, and I become a better teacher. And having, 10 years of students under my belt now, where I'm still in touch with many of them.
That's quite an accomplishment.
It's so cool. Yeah, and it's so great to see things that they've done. Like, they have art jobs, they're artists, they're thriving, and it's incredible to feel like I've played a little part in that, and to be connected. It's such an important, we need community. Everybody needs community, but when you work in such a tricky, being an artist is feast and famine. You have an incredible high, and then you don't get a project for a couple, or you don't sell a painting for a while, or you got to come back down and do the work before you can present to the world again. And so I think having a community of people that understand that, people that, I relied so heavily on my own mentors, that to be able to do that for the next generation of artists.
Really cool. Who are your mentors? Who are they?
So a couple of, Kristen was definitely one, a couple of great teachers that I had at the Academy of Art. Another one is Stephen Player, who was, and still is, just an incredible, he's an amazing illustrator. He's English, and he did all of Terry Pratchett's books, and he's very, very accomplished. And I came out and was really interested in erotic art, and he has an entire erotic art career that's separate from his mainstream stuff, and really was like, this is an important thing. He also helped me get my teaching job, and led me to, allowed me to see that was a very serious part of the art world. It was, I actually started my painting career because I studied traditional illustration, and then right as I finished my master's degree, I got a job teaching, or not teaching, but painting I was the artist in residence for a porn studio. And so I was exposed to that and doing a lot of erotic art, and he's the one that comes to mind that was just so incredibly supportive.
Yeah. And I have to know, how did you discover Richard? Or should I say, how did Richard discover you at RJD Gallery? How did that,
That's a
tell us the story. Tell us.
Yeah. So I was just starting to kind of really develop my fine art career. Like I had departed from illustration and was working on paintings that were all of a sudden really good, focused, long-term, like serious paintings that I wanted to show in galleries. I wanted to pursue fine art. And so I was taking some time to build a portfolio for myself. And I had participated in a group show at RJD Gallery, and my painting didn't sell. And then months later, I had been painting in my studio. Months later,
You forgot about it. You pretty much forgot.
Yeah, it was just a one-off. And I loved that gallery. They had some artists that I was just like wild about, and I was like, it would be a dream to show work there. And then they contacted me because somebody had contacted them about buying the painting. And I took the opportunity to just kind of swoop and be like, hey, yeah, you can like facilitate the sale, but here's everything that I've been working on. And they were kind of like, we're not like that interested. And then when they saw what I was doing, Richard said that they wanted to represent me. And it's been a dream. Like it's the gallery that I wanted. They turned out to be the team that I like needed and wanted more than anything. I'm madly in love with Richard and Mago, but they're
in love with them too. I really am. I think they're wonderful people. They really are.
And they've taught me so much. He's straight with me, and he, I love him, and he says fuck all the time and is really like straightforward and just tells you how it is. He'll call me and say, don't do this. Or he'll call me and say, you need to think about this. Or he'll call me and tell me that I was sending paintings framed, and he was like, your frames are garbage. We're throwing them all away, and we're going to show you how it needs to be done. And so he's really
they know the marketing. Yeah. They know who would look at this or who would like that. It's a good thing that you're with him. It really, really is.
Yeah, I agree.
We are going to take a look now at your video that they produced for you.
Oh, great.
Just a moment. We're going to take a look at that video. So just stay tuned and keep watching.
Hi, my name is Rachel Moseley, and I am a figurative oil painter, and I'm represented by RJD Gallery. I am excited to take you guys on a tour of my work. He's Never Touched Dirt and He's Never Been Hurt is a new painting that I have recently finished and that I'm very, very excited about. I have been wanting to evolve my style for some time and not move away from realism, but try to incorporate elements of illustration. Realism is such a tight color weaving, layering process. The background here is a paint by number that I created. I really love the idea of the show cowboy. The cowboy who is all hat and no cattle. When I moved to Las Vegas, I taught at UNLV for a couple of semesters. You can kind of tell where I am based on the sky. In California, there's a lot more moisture in the air, and so we see a lot of haze in the sky, I suppose. And in the desert, on a clear day, the sky is just bright blue, and it's so beautiful, and I was really drawn to that. I wanted to capture the end of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk season in a portrait of somebody. The themes of this painting and the things that I wanted to feel was fun and games and lightheartedness and summertime. This year we've decided to do a series of prints of some of my most popular paintings. Not only does it make them more affordable, but it makes them more accessible to people that maybe missed out on the original painting. They're mostly from a time when I was painting in Las Vegas, almost California, Fool's Gold and Wet Dream are three of my favorite prints, and they're all of the same model who was essentially my muse. Thank you for taking the time to look at my new prints and paintings. I'm so excited to share this work with you guys, and all of it is available on rjdgallery.com.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm here with artist Rachel Moseley, and we just saw a fabulous video all about her and her art. So now, Rachel, if we want to learn more information about you as an artist, where can we go? Do you know
Well, yeah, I do have a website. I'm on Instagram and I have a website, rachelmoseleyart.com, but the best place to find my work is at rjdgallery.com. They do all of my sales and they have all of my available work there. So that's it.
Fabulous. Well, Rachel, it was such a joy to interview you. You are a beautiful, talented artist with so much to say. Our half an hour is up. I didn't get to ask you as many questions as I would have liked to, but we got a half an hour TV show out of this. And I want to thank you for coming on Cognac's Corner. And if I was there right now, I would give you a big pink champagne kiss.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me on. This was so wonderful and I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Pink champagne kisses, darling.
Okay.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane. I hope you enjoyed that wonderful interview that I did with artist Rachel Moseley. Keep watching. More Zoom interviews coming up. And please subscribe to my channel, Pink Champagne Kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.